Welcome to Taking Care of Business, the podcast that explores business and opportunities in Dubai.
From real estate insights to conversations with Dubai's top entrepreneurs,
We cover the economy, investments, and stories that shape the city.
for market knowledge and business inspiration, this is the podcast you need to follow.
What is Afia, by the way?
Afia is actually the old brokerage firm that my dad started in 1995.
Okay.
And that's where we incubated InsuranceMarket.ae.
Oh, really?
In 2010, yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
in fact, we're in the process of name change, but the trade name is still Afia.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Yeah, so that's the kind of business I inherited, and we kind of like 30x or 40x at this point, that business.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's
through insurance markets.
You got a similar story to really me and my dad. 'Cause my dad, he was one of the first. Well, he was in the top rich list in the UK for a telecoms business.
Oh, was
so
he?
this is 1990. It was him, all the Manchester United players. Richard Branson, I think he was number 64 at the time. He had a telecoms business, and he started with £1,000 and took it to I think about 300 million market cap. This is in the 90s. That's dirhams, that is. So it was nearly 100 million pounds at that time. And I think we've both been through that of having a successful father.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
think
very
that's?
valid.
Do you think having a successful father is a cornerstone to your and my success?
I think it's been a big factor, to be honest. Dinner table conversations around the insurance business. Like when I came in, I was 22 years old, but I felt like I got the business.
Yeah.
Because I'd been interning there as a receptionist as a 14-year-old. I've done sales as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So it just kind of all came naturally and kind of made sense.
Yeah, I
So
think if you
it's a
grow up and
massive
it's in your DNA, isn't it? I always think about my dad, and when I was probably 10 or 11, I remember he used to have this big, long BMW 7 Series, big green one, and he used to sit in the back, and he used to smoke in the car at the time.
Really?
And he'd have Frank Sinatra, and I always remember I loved Frank Sinatra, and I used to listen to him on the phone. He'd be the first guy. Do you remember the phone cars?
Yeah.
He had the Y out.
Yeah.
And you'd
100%.
listen to the business conversations, and I think, wow. And I do believe that you're probably shaped a bit from having your family around you that do that.
Yeah, it's inspiring, especially if your family and your father in particular are willing to talk to you about it and
Yeah.
have an adult conversation
Yeah.
while you're like a 10 or 11-year-old. And that's what I find crazy.
Yeah.
Because my girls are 4 and 6 now, and I'm starting to think about when will I be discussing business with them,
Yeah.
And it's a leap, right? But I think it's definitely been it's played a role. And at the same time, there's a lot of things that we've done differently, I guess,
Yeah.
as well. At least in my case, I can say I have.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, it's interesting. Like this stuff you have to learn, but there's also a lot of stuff you got to, I guess, unlearn over time.
Yeah,
As
no, I
times
agree.
change, as business changes, as strategies.
Yeah, I
are
think what
different.
our fathers know is the fax machine and the letters you send out and a lot of networking, flying to Hong Kong. My dad used to fly to Hong Kong, and he used to deal with Lucky Gold Star, which is now called LG, the TV. He was the biggest dealer for them, and Ericsson. And I remember he used to fly to Japan. And now I think, wow, a lot of that can be done over video call now and phone calls and things like that. The world is just a different place from the 90s to 2000s.
Yeah, 100%. And there's so many things, right? Like, which are kind of valid, but then you don't know how you can apply them today. So one of my pet peeves from my dad was he would always be like, pick up the phone call, don't text, don't email. You want to get something done, make a phone call.
Yeah.
And I could never get around to that. I found it very intrusive and things because growing up a millennial, it's different. So
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting. Yeah.
And do you still would you pick up the phone now, or would you WhatsApp? Because I don't think we've ever had a legitimate phone call. If we want to chat, me and you are on
Correct.
WhatsApp.
It's always WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
At most a voice note, right?
Voice note is how you will get me. Because what I love about voice notes is you can respond at your own rate, and you can, if you're busy, that it's there, what's being said, and you come back.
Yeah.
But I think obviously we go through this in real estate because I think if you want to convince somebody, you have to speak to them. In an email or a WhatsApp, it can easily be brushed to the side. But if you're on the phone saying, Avinash, look, this is the time to buy, this is why, this is the reason, you start to go, guy's got a point. But if it's an email or a WhatsApp, it can easily be brushed aside. I think that the generation, how old are you?
37.
Yeah, so I'm 39. I think the generation just below us, I think the mid-20s are in that internet, WhatsApp era.
Yeah.
So it's, I think it'll be
I
intriguing
think
to see
we're
how we
somewhere
go.
in between. Yeah.
We're what, hybrid?
Hybrid.
We're a hybrid of both. Do you think that if me and you were in the 90s, early thousands and we started up, do you think we'd have the skill set to make it, or do you reckon it's a different skill set?
Look, I think some things are fundamentally the same in entrepreneurship, right? You've got to hustle, you've got to get things done, you've got to deploy capital, you've got to have risk appetite.
Yeah.
You want to build a brand as opposed to think about short-term sales.
Yeah.
Some of the things are the same, but you're talking about a period where you're growing up without the internet, right? You're trying to build a business at scale without the kind of tools we have today, without AI that we've been exposed to in the past couple of years. So, I think it'd be a lot harder in some ways.
Yeah.
But again, the competitive environment may be different. So, yeah.
I think if you're an entrepreneur, you can do it. I think entrepreneurs have this way of figuring it out. And I think that's probably my main strength, is that if something goes wrong, I'm not dwelling on what's going wrong. I basically am looking at what's the solution to fix it. And I think that's a certain type of person to do that. And I think that's what really successful people, if you listen to like Richard Branson, anyone, they never talk negative. They talk about what they're building, what they want to do. Like it's a very different mindset.
I 100% agree. It's about finding that opportunity in every problem that comes forward, and that's something that I'm trying to build within the team. But I think you've got to lead from the front when it comes to that mindset. Yeah.
So we've completely gone off tangent to family, deep into that. We're not. Some people will watch this, but who are the two people on the podcast? You're the CEO.
Yes.
Okay, of InsuranceMarket.ae.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to put it out there and put a statement there. Your business is probably the most well-known business on the streets of Dubai.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
How does that make you feel to hear that?
That was the dream.
Okay.
Going in 2010.
Yeah.
Starting something. It was, the dream was like, let's build a household name.
Yeah.
It would be nice if every kid knows who Alfred is.
And that's what I was going to get onto. Anybody that's watching this and wants to know why I think your business is the most synonymous, well-known business, and we're talking the emails and everything else, you've built this business around Alfred. And if you see Alfred, you know that a business is attached to, and your billboards are everywhere. I mean, we've talked off camera before about the investment that goes into that. How is the concept of insurance market? How's Alfred come about? Because this is now one of the most well-known cartoonish characters out there. How is that?
Well, we've spoken previously off camera about, the time we spent in Coventry and Leamington Spa. Yeah. So I had the opportunity to be in boarding school in the UK, university in the UK. And it was there that I was really exposed to insurance distribution brands being the dominant way of buying insurance. Growing up in Dubai, if at all there were any insurance brands, there were insurance companies, and they would take out one billboard a year, and it would be a very boring corporate type of thing. There was no go-to place, and the rest was brokers, salespeople running around trying to do business. When I came in 2010 as a 22-year-old, ready to go on my entrepreneurial journey, I just basically copy-pasted the idea of, let's build a brand, the go-to de facto place to go to when you need.
There's one
insurance.
in the UK, isn't there? Is it a dog, a nodding dog?
There's a few. So there's Compare the Market.
Yeah, that's the Meerkat one, isn't it?
Yeah, there's the Meerkat. There's Geico in the US.
Yeah.
With a gecko.
Yeah.
So there's a few. So it was just purely inspired from that.
Do you know what's crazy about it before we get onto that? Is that what you have done is what some of the best and biggest businesses in the world have done. Uber to Deliveroo to Careem. They basically come with an international brand, localize it, and then scale it.
Yeah. And this was a brand which was just made up, from zero. It wasn't but it had that international kind of appeal to it. When I came in, started meeting insurers, the demand at the time was for Western expat clients, because Western expats don't make accidents.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And it was literally blatantly, as crudely said to us, that, if your portfolio is X% Western expat, we'll take so-and-so nationalities.
Wow. So you target your whole business to start on expats?
So it was like, okay, so then if we're going to come up with a mascot, I'll have to run ads on Dubai 92.
Yeah.
So I might as well have a Western expat mascot. So that's how Alfred came about.
Wow.
Now today, that's very different. Everyone loves Alfred, and is Dubai's own
Yeah.
But that was really where it started.
So is Alfred Caucasian? He's white, isn't he, Alfred?
He is.
So
yeah,
is that where it's come from?
That's how it started.
Really?
And then we've played around with the eye colors as well.
I've seen the Arab version though. Am I mistaken that?
Well, he's wearing Arab attire in
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
you're
Fine.
right,
Wow, that's incredible.
He
So-
celebrates Diwali. He's a Dubai product now.
Yeah, of course. Like also up and also, we I class this as a homegrown product, a bit like Chris Fade and these guys that
Absolutely
launched their business. I say I'm born in England, but I basically was made in Dubai, and I think that's what a lot of us were born in our hometown and we're born.
Yeah,
there.
I feel like I'm from. I say I'm from Dubai when people ask where I'm from. So
They played football yesterday in the World Cup qualifier, and they lost to Qatar 2-1. It's whether or not they go through to the World Cup. They got one more game, but like in my heart, I'm like, come on, UAE, like I think you just become part of it, don't you?
100%.
Do you think if you lived in England and you had this insurance market business, do you think England and the way that the world is set up there with taxation and everything around the UK business ecosystem, you'd have made it as big as you are today or not?
I don't know. I think I was always a Dubai kid. Even whilst I was studying in the UK, I wanted to come back and do something in Dubai. I'd seen what Dubai had done for me and my family.
Yeah.
You know, my dad came here in the year 1980 and started a job as an entry-level accountant at an insurance brokerage firm. So that's really where it all began, if you wanted to go way back. So I'd just seen the city. It just made sense. And, you know, growing up in an Indian household, you know, you go back and live with your parents.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty much something that, you know, and also the insurance business was there. And my dad had kind of pretty much clearly told me that, look, I've made my money. I want to do other things in life. I've done insurance brokerage for 30 years, built up a good quality platform. You know, take it on and take it to the next level.
And have you got brothers or sisters or not?
I've got a younger sister.
And is she involved in it?
She's not. No, she works in Bollywood. So interestingly, the dream was to actually build a self-sustaining money-making machine in the insurance business, and then go off and make movies.
Yeah. Oh wow! Even you?
Myself. Yeah.
Is that
so
still on the cards or not?
I don't know. Things have changed with AI for the better in some ways, and there's challenges in other ways. So we'll see. But that was the plan. Okay. And so I think I inspired my sister a little bit to take on the film industry as well. So now she's
doing
on
your
her
dream,
own accord. She's been working in the film industry for 10 years. She's worked on the biggest Bollywood movies that have come out,
Is
the
she an
highest
actress?
grossing. No, she's on the directing and creative side.
Amazing.
So she's been assistant director, creative producer, and so on. So,
and was that her dream or your dream?
No, I think it started as my dream, but I think she really took it on, and she's living the dream.
What an incredible story. You must be a little bit jealous of that a little bit, even when you're
I'm super happy for her. And look, I think when it comes to that, I think for me, I never realized the kind of creative fulfillment I'd get being an insurance entrepreneur. Yeah. It sounds so boring and dry.
No, it's not. I mean,
but just the rush of building a business, you know, it's phenomenal. Like
people don't get that. I think they don't understand that. I think I'm a builder. I break stuff. I put it back together. Yes, we sell houses, but you're always figuring out how you're going to take it to the next level, what technology you're using, how you implement it, how you market it to your staff, to the external marketplace. And like, it is a creative flow that you need to really push it forward, especially with everything moving like AI as well.
Yeah, I say it's the best. It's where art and science intersect. Yeah. And that's the beauty of what we do. And it's so fulfilling, like no regrets for a moment. You know?
You said before about AI. AI is disrupting everything at the moment, and you know, I say this to everybody now. If I was to say to you, out of 10, how many times do you use Google? How many times do you use ChatGPT when you search something now? What's yours searched out of 10?
Yeah, I mean, even if I'm Googling, my intention is that the AI will, you know, appear first rather than paid links. I don't think I've clicked on a paid link in a while because really, we want the answers. But it's all very, very AI driven.
I think I'm 8 out of 10 minimum now, where if I need an answer, I go ChatGPT. Yeah. Every time. And Gemini is incredible as well. Yeah. Now, when you talk about AI, obviously the real estate side of things, I think there's going to be plays in real estate where if you are a buyer and you're looking in Arabian ranches, it might start to tag you into different areas and offer different opportunities for you. And AI will start to work out an algorithm. If you want a pool and you've got 10 million, it might start offering you other properties, even down to chat agents now and phone call agents. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but the amount of it's frightening, isn't it? And you don't even know who's calling. I think it's going to be exciting, and we're building some incredible technology to lean into this at the moment. How do you think it's going to affect your marketplace, and is it affecting it?
Oh yeah, it is, and I mean we're going all in as well. Again, looking at it as an opportunity as opposed to a threat. It's hard to say how people will behave going forward. A lot of kids are being brought up in a ChatGPT first world. But yeah, it boils down to the same things you touched upon.
Yeah.
How consumers engage with us, how employees talk to each other, how processes, a lot of things required a big digital transformation.
Yeah.
Now you can just replace it with an AI bot. So, you're skipping through a whole, data-based journey, and just instead of getting an employee to do something, you're getting an AI bot to do that for you. So that said, at this stage, to be completely honest, it's easier said than done.
Yeah,
like everyone's talking about how AI is disrupting everything. How much is it really doing in your business today? I'd like to say it's doing a lot. I know we're spending a lot of time on it. But
this is about 5%. I mean, maximum at the moment.
Yeah.
But you can see, I'll give you small examples in real estate. So we've got a whole admin team here. And what they do is when we get a title deed of an owner, we then manually upload that onto the system. We then verify the owner. We go through the world check to make sure they're legitimate owners. We then place it onto the system, go through the files and flows. I know that in 6 months to a year, because we're already building it, that they'll still have their jobs. They'll be redistributed into marketing, but somewhere else. But I can now click one button and AI will scrape the phone number, email address, verify the owner, go through the whole process, get it online, even potentially offer it to potential buyers before an agent's even touched it. That's where we plan to go with it. But right now, we're not there. But you can see the framework.
Yeah. For us, we launched Instant Alfred about 2 years ago, and we've been optimizing it since. Today, I can say about 50% of all our conversations happen within Instant Alfred on InsuranceMarket.ae.
And is that basically a chat GPT
It's a chat bot. Works on WhatsApp, works on web, mobile.
Yeah.
So that's good. We've got internally Alfred GPT.
Yeah.
So
how do you work with incoming phone calls? Because we've got this issue at the moment. Like, obviously, we've got people on the front desk. If someone's not there, or for instance, there's a client on the phone, we then got to go on, manually put notes on and go through the whole process. I think even front desks are going to change, where it's an AI agent that puts it into the system and potentially does part of the job for you.
100%. So AI agents are, soon, in my view, going to be indistinguishable from whether you're speaking to a human. So
we're training them at the moment. We've got voices, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's about training them well, right? Like, old-fashioned, even I've been talking to, friends who are, let's say 10 years, 15 years older, and they're giving me the same reasons as why they think AI is a bubble and it's not going to work as entrepreneurs give when they can't scale their business.
Correct.
It's like, I had to spend 5 hours on this. At the end of the day, it would have been easier to just do it myself. These are exactly the things that I was telling them that, this is why people don't delegate and can't scale.
Do you know, this is how crazy AI is. So obviously we've got graphic designers, and these graphic designers do part of their jobs, and they do, they'll create adverts for us. And me, I'm not a graphic designer. I took a photo the other day of me and my friend, and I uploaded it and said, turn this on to Mark Zuckerberg. It was Mark Zuckerberg sitting where you are now, and I put it on my Instagram, and it looks so real. Yeah. And I did one on LinkedIn yesterday talking about Donald Trump, and I said,
I saw that one. Yes, nice.
Just Donald Trump, and I just said, turn this, my friend, into Donald Trump, put it online, and the amount of messages you get.
Yeah.
So now you can create. Have you seen Sora 2? Sora.
I have, yes.
Okay, Sora 2 is not in the UAE yet, but anyone watching this, basically, you can get, as long as you give your video likeliness, you can basically say, turn me walking down the street with my shopping, and then I'm going to turn into Superman, fly to the moon, and I'm going to fight an alien. And the video comes out so crazily real.
Unbelievable.
That they distinguish between reality and adverts. How much damage is that going to do to marketing companies? The Sora 2 on its own, that's one iteration of a version of it, is basically going to wipe out. Because I basically, as Lewis also could sit there and go, I'm going to create a new marketing campaign, write my vision, come out.
It's done, yeah. You saw that recently, I think in Hollywood, they banned, or in California, they banned AI-generated actors.
Yeah.
right?
Because Bruce Willis
But
sold himself, didn't he? Do you know?
Yeah,
Did you see that
and
one?
they created a brand new actress
Yeah.
who's completely AI generated. And apparently an agency was about to represent her and get her movie deals.
Wow.
And just in time, they came in and said, no, you can't do this. But this is where it's
gonna
going,
come.
right? Like it is in the movie business in particular, I'm fascinated by how it's just going to get completely...
Well, look, if they let you do it with Shrek and, other generation TV or films, it is basically a created visual. Yes, it is. It's not cartoonish, but it still sits in that category of being a cartoon because it's video generated, isn't it? So I mean, very intrigued. Like I said before, the interesting was Bruce Willis, before he got ill, sold his rights to his likeliness, and they've created films with him in.
Yeah.
And then obviously people have the draw to Bruce Willis, so they'll get more movie buys because it's Bruce Willis.
And he's immortal now, right? It's so sad to see him how he's doing.
He's
but,
one of my cult heroes in the 90s.
Yeah, but like he's immortalized now thanks to AI, right? So that's the positive side of it, right?
Okay, so let me ask you a question about the insurance market, not the business, how it is today. Every person who lives in a home needs insurance. Every person that has a car needs insurance. You have a boat, you need insurance. Where do you guys make your money? Do you make it on the claim? Do you make it on the initial?
No, just on the sales of the insurance.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we make our biggest difference at the time of a claim.
Yeah.
And we
so that's where you do make money in as well, yeah.
We don't make money there, but we help clients and we make sure we get it done.
Yeah.
So what we say is that regardless of the insurer you choose, if you've bought from InsuranceMarket.ae, we'll stand behind you. We'll make sure it gets done. So we have a big claim service team that literally takes you from, the beginning to the bitter end of that
That
journey,
is an incredible service,
which is a very
by the
stressful
way.
time. And we stand by our clients. And
that's incredible. Because
the biggest example was the April floods last year. The number of claims we could see and deal with. And, we boast about our Google reviews. We've got over 26,000. If you actually go onto the Google reviews and read them, most of them are about
the flood,
about the experience they've had at the time of a claim.
Wow. Yeah. Do you
as
know
opposed to the buying experience, which of course you've got to have good service when you're selling, right? But you're selling, you're taking people's money. So that's kind of like a given.
Yeah.
But being there for a client when they need you the most, when they have a claim, that's our true purpose. That's our true mission.
I think one of the most interesting things is that I really, really don't like claiming on insurance ever. Even if I pranked my car the other day, I didn't claim on it. And the reason I didn't claim on it, and you probably made me change my opinion on after this and working with you guys, is that insurers most of the time try and find a way out of paying you. And you are the guy that stands on the claim. So if you have that as a USP, that you're saying, we were going to back you because you're the brokerage, but the actual insurer themselves,
correct.
I always find they're always trying to look for an angle. Even the floods, I'm sure there were stories where they're saying, your car shouldn't have been outside, or they'll basically...
It shouldn't have been driven into the floods, It should have been stationary. There's all this kind of stuff that does happen. When we build out this USP, I think we couldn't do it without our partners.
Yeah.
So now we make sure we empanel the right partners.
That's the big thing.
And then we create the right SOPs, the right channels that'll enable us to make sure we can deliver on that promise. So, I wouldn't say all are like that. There are some that are better than others.
Is it the unknown ones?
That's the role we play.
Is it the cheaper unknown ones generally, the ones that don't pay out?
Look, if it's cheaper, then you've got to ask why.
Yeah.
And, so cheapest is not always the best. Are we the cheapest? We'll get you good deals on InsuranceMarket.ae, but there's always cheaper out there.
If anyone offers me 3 cars and they look the same, I will never choose the cheapest. Because it never plays out that way. It's just never going to go the way that you want it to go.
Exactly.
Okay, so you as a leader, let me ask you a couple of questions here. I've got some great notes here about your business. You, obviously the CEO of the business. CEO is one of the most interesting roles because you have to evolve every year and every day and every month. Like when you had a small team of 100, you're the guy on the floor that everyone knows. And how many people have got in your business right now?
We're about 600 plus.
Okay, so you're around the same level of us.
Yeah.
And you'll probably find it's quite interesting because you don't know everyone's name. You don't know, I'm in the lift with people sometimes and they're new. And my memory's bad anyway. I know they work for us, but until they've been with us a few years or there's a great impact into the business, it's impossible to know everyone. And you go from being the guy on the floor to being the guy that strategizes the business at a higher level. How have you found that transition from being the 100-man company to the 600-man company? What's been the biggest challenge you faced?
Look, I love it. It's as you grow, in some ways, building a business just get easier, right? You have more resources to play with. You can take bigger risks, and that's what kind of the entrepreneurial rush is all about, I think. For me, what I've made sure I do, and I try my best to do, is to stay close to everyone. You're right. I can't possibly know everyone. Can't meet everyone face to face. But one of the things I've done is our weekly CEO webinars, where I go online for half an hour every Thursday afternoon.
Oh, wow.
And talk to everyone live directly about
amazing.
What's happening, what we're up to, what's coming, how we're doing as a business. And that's something I started in COVID. So this
really
been 5-6 years ago. But that's been a great way to just control the narrative from the top.
We had this issue. In fact, we have this issue because obviously when you have 100 people, you can get them in a room. But when you've got 600, 700, we're aiming for 1,000 in the next 6 months. That's where we want to be at. And I know we will get there. But when you get to the 600 mark, which we're talking about right this second, your message can get diluted very quickly. I can say to you, Avinash, this is the situation. What you pass along the room is a very weak version of what is going on in the 100%. Company. And that's such a tough thing for an entrepreneur.
100%. Controlling that narrative, keeping that culture aligned.
Yeah.
Otherwise you have all kinds of toxicity that can happen in an organization, right? Controlling the narrative, like I said, is mission critical to continue to grow. Yeah,
I think everyone has an opinion on the business. Every decision you make, there is an opinion. And, the reality is that being the CEO or the chairman, you're not there to make everyone happy. You're there to do what's good for the business. And sometimes they want to hear from maybe the owner to say, this is why we're going in this direction. This is why we're doing it. So when we launch our next technology and phase, I know I have to get everybody together and they need to hear it from me. Yep. Why are we doing this? What are the pain points? What's the vision? And if you can get that and everyone buys into it, all of a sudden, the business is charging in one direction. The message is clear to everybody outside the company as well about who we are and what we're doing.
It's what Brian Chesky termed founder mode from Airbnb.
Okay.
So it's really not being embarrassed about being a founder that's running the show.
Yeah.
Leading from the front.
Yeah.
I think that's extremely powerful because you tend to get into the phase of, if you want to grow a business, then you've got to hire great people and then let them do their jobs.
Yeah.
Don't micromanage.
Yeah.
There's some kind of credibility there,
but
I think you've got to strike that balance. You've still got to be the captain of the ship, as long as you're CEO.
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously when we start talking, we'll definitely have a clash of like what you do and what I do, and they both work. But basically, underneath me, I have my managing director who's been with me 17 years. My operations director. We've hired a head of revenue that looks after all the sales team. Then there's managers underneath them that manage their team.
Yeah.
I now won't step on their toes. This is how it works. I won't go and sit with the sales managers or the salespeople and be like, why are you doing this? It's not my place to do it. I actually give the messaging to my senior management and say, this is what I need you to do. And because they've been with me so long, they're basically imprinting into me 17 years with somebody. We have an answer. It's the same answer. We have the same tone. So I've gone down the route of letting people do what I've employed them to do.
Yeah.
And what I try and do is actually empower my managing director to be the voice of the company, not me. And it's such an interesting way that people operate because people probably in your business want to hear your voice. People in my business don't really hear my voice anymore. They hear my actions.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's very different.
No, I think it's a spectrum, right? Over time. So there's, we have a management team of 40 people, middle and senior. For me, the model that's worked really well is what we call the strategist integrator model. So I like to be the big idea guy, the thinker, but execution is something terrible, I struggle with.
My brother is the executioner.
So we've got my chief integrators who are execution guys. I've got 3 of them.
Yeah.
And so everything we do kind of flows through them.
Entrepreneurs always have great ideas, and sometimes the ideas don't work. But you need the ideas, and then you need somebody to. I always say about me and Carl, my brother, I throw the grenade in the room, and he picks up the pieces and makes that work. And I think if you don't have both, a business doesn't work. But your business partner you've got, who you work with, family members, is there anyone in you that sits next to you as a shareholder that is the integrator, or is it you had to hire them?
No, I don't.
Wow. So I'm very fortunate that I have that on.
Yeah. But at this point, they are kind of like family members.
Okay.
So this is a bit contentious because what we also say in the organization is that we're not a family.
We're not.
We're a sports team playing the A game. But that said, our chief integrators, the three of them, they are family.
It's such a tough one because we always said from 2008 till probably 2015, we're a family company. We're a family company. And everyone's, we're a family company. But it gets to a point where you need performance as well. Yeah. And then it's like, look, you may be my brother, but you can't, the company comes first. You have to do, and if you don't do it, I can't fire my mum, but I can fire you. Not that we're a hire and fire company, but it is performance related. Business isn't, at some point, if you want to really take the business forward, it has to be, it can't be like, they're a legacy person, they've been with me 15 years. And I still have people in the business that are legacy that I've had to upskill and pay to upskill to bring them with us. And that's important, that if you want a better team, you either upskill them or you replace them.
Yeah, and look, and that's actually contrary to what people might think. It's actually good for morale. You don't want to be sitting next to someone who's slacking and they're there because they've just been there around for so long, right? Let it be a meritocracy. That's the system we're in. That's the world we live in. You know, let the best make progress and do better than others, right?
Yeah.
And that's what drives humans, right? Like that purpose to get better at something.
I'm very competitive in the market. At the moment, this is the most competitive market in the world, real estate specifically, and obviously developers in your market. Everywhere is competitive. But if I feel like I'm losing an inch, I fight harder and I go more. And I actually work better when somebody is chasing me than having it easy.
Yeah, competition's great.
I'm a bad version of myself if things are too well.
Yeah. I think you've been doing this 15, 20 years at this
17
point?
years and also
17 years,
and 20 in Dubai in January.
So I'm sure there's many competitors you've killed, and that feels good as well.
Yeah, do you know what? I used to really hate them. That's basically, I used to like, everything was like, we're going to do everything we can to take their business. But I'm at the phase now where I've learned not to look at anybody else. I don't follow anybody on Instagram at all who's in the real estate company. If they own a company and they're not my friend, I do not follow them. They all follow me. But the reason I don't want to follow them is that I don't want to poison my mind. Like, I know I've got one job to do: grow the company, grow the technology, do what we're doing, and look at nobody else. The problem is that feel of like, I'm going to hurt them.
It's negative,
It's negative. And what I've learned as I've got older, I don't want to carry that weight with me. I don't want to carry negative weight. Anybody that hangs around with me knows me, family knows, you'll never get me in a bad day, because I know that what's on my social media, what I read, who I hang around with, they've got to fit into my mind. And if they don't, So the killing of another company is definitely like, in 2015. 2025 is about, hope they do well, but I'm going to be the best.
Yeah.
And it's there's enough out there for everybody, isn't it? In every market, it's
no, I agree, and there's just no time for negativity, right?
No, I mean, look, I'm sure you have. We've been attacked a lot over the years. When you're the best company, everyone wants your talent. That's the number one thing that they want, and it's painful because you've got to go through the process of rehiring and everything else. But I think that's part of competition. You know, people are going to move on, and one thing I've learned in my business is that we might have someone really good in our business, but they won't be the best. They actually want to be the best in a smaller business, and then maybe suited there. Yeah. I just say let them. People need to go with their career path, and you know, our business isn't suited to everyone. Yeah, and you can't have your moat built on some key people, right? Your moat has to be something beyond that. Yeah, it's beyond you as well at some point, right? And that's definitely beyond me now. And that's powerful. Yeah, I would say that I'm at that phase where the business isn't me anymore, and it's the business as such. Yeah. And the more we can lean on technology, processes. I mean, anybody that's watching this, I'm sure you say the same. Process is the number one thing in a business. If you get that right, talent becomes irrelevant to a degree. Correct. Yeah. Is that the same in your business? So there's two things, right? So can the business survive without you, or can the business grow without you, right? So the growing part is much harder. I don't think my business could grow without me. Right. I think so that's the North Star, right? Because then it's a self-sustaining. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know,
But it takes ideas. And do you know that the thing is, I don't know, with our business, we have no outside capital.
Yeah.
So
neither do we. Yeah.
So that's probably one of our strengths. So because we are our own money, and someone always said to me, the minute you take money off somebody, you become the employee. And I don't like that. I don't work. I couldn't work for anybody.
Right.
And I think the strength that you have is that it's your money. If you want billboards,
yeah,
it's your money, and that's it. And I think that strength that we have as entrepreneurs is shooting from the hip is probably one of the main things that you have.
And then the ability and willingness to take some risk and have some fun, right?
And I think that as an entrepreneur does have fun with the risks. You know, I don't know about you, but I've got my money that I personally have. I worked out the other day. I've got 3% of my own capital in cash. Everything else is shares, crypto, properties, investments in businesses. And I laugh because it's actually quite gung-ho. I can call the capital at any time. But when the crypto crash happened 10 days ago, I looked at my P&L. I was like, whew, that's not good, but don't worry. It'll come back. That's an entrepreneur's...
Exactly. I just don't look at it.
Okay, so one last question on today's podcast. By the way, fantastic. Anyone watching this, I'm hoping they'll gain a lot from it. What would you pass on to another leader, a bit of advice from somebody that's built such an incredible business? What advice would you give another entrepreneur?
I would say be in control of your own destiny. You know, really be in control and what that means. And once you can attain that, I think you can be unstoppable. Provided, you know, you want to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I think if you're in control, you can really do well.
Couldn't agree anymore. Avinash, thank you so much for coming down. If anyone's looking for an insurance product, homes, properties, cars, boats, life insurance, fire, theft, everyone needs it. It's InsuranceMarket.ae.
That's exactly right.
Cheers, guys.